Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This will be a tutorial on how to make a tower defense game in Java. Tower defense games are a great start to begin learning, because they have many cool features and mechanics that are used in a lot of different games. We will add these mechanics using basic ideas and solutions which are much easier to understand. And as soon as you understand the basics, you can always make it better on your own. Some of the things we will learn and use in this series are sprites and animations, how a game loop works, pathfinding, how enemies move around a certain path or direction, user inputs with the mouse or keyboard, and how to build a level, and of course much more. This game will be in 2D, two-dimensional, and we will not use any game engine. For those that don't know, a game engine can be used to speed up the process of making a game. But the problem with game engines is that if you're trying to learn the fundamentals of creating games, they're usually not the best start of your game development journey. But as soon as you made a game or two by yourself, they can be a great time saver and let you skip a lot of code for rendering, physics, event handling, and so on. But for beginners in coding, I would not recommend it to start with if you wish to learn what's under the hood. And by knowing how things work, you will have a better understanding of game development, and when problems arise, you will have an easier time figuring out the issues. Before we get started, there are some requirements for you that you will need for this tutorial. You will need a basic understanding of the Java language or similar ones. Maybe you follow a tutorial on YouTube for beginners, there are plenty of them out there on YouTube. Khan Academy is also a great place to learn. I would recommend their course on Intro to JavaScript. It's not the same language, but teaches you everything from variables to what object-oriented programming is. We will also need some tools, which all will be free. We need something called an IDE, an Integrated Development Environment, which is just a program that lets us write the code and structure it accordingly. And for Java, we will also need to download the Java Development Kit, JDK. Both are easy to install. One of these downloads allows us to write the code and the other one lets us run it. I will be coding in a Linux computer, but this works on Windows as well. It should work on a Mac computer too, but the installation might be different, so you would have to search for a guide on that. Since most of you are using Windows, I will show you how to download it and install the programs. It's very straightforward. First, you go to eclipse.org/downloads and you download the Eclipse IDE. Save it on your computer somewhere you will remember where you put it. I'm saving mine on the desktop, but anywhere works. The next file we will need to download is the Java Development Kit. I will leave a link in the description for it so you don't have to type all of that. And you scroll down to the Windows installer and click on the download button. A small pop-up will show, just click accept and then click download. Same here, save it somewhere you remember where you put it. And now when we have both of those files, we can start installing them. You start by clicking next, somewhere to save it, and it's getting installed. And once that is done, you can click close and now it's installed. So let's install the Eclipse IDE. By clicking on the Eclipse installer, we got a couple of different options and we want to go with the one at the top, Eclipse IDE for Java developers. There are some other options, but they don't really concern us for now. And you can click install unless you want to change the file locations, but the default one works fine here. Click accept now, and now it's installing. The installer might download some extra files to complete the installation, but it will do that automatically. And when the installation is complete, you will be asked to specify a workspace location, and you can use the default one. This is where all your files go when you're making some code. But default works fine here, just click launch. And when everything is complete, you will be greeted by the welcome page, but you can just exit it and exit to donate as well till we get to this view. And here we can choose to create a new project or import a project. But before I'll do anything else, I will be enabling the dark mode because this is very bright and I'm used to dark mode. So just go into Windows, Appearance, and change the theme to dark. Of course, you don't have to use a dark mode, but I prefer it, and if you do, you might need to restart to make it work correctly. And once that is all done, we are ready to make our first project. Alright, we'll start by making a new project, new Java project. Project name, TD tutorial. We don't need to change anything else, but no. Nothing needs to be changed. Finish. We don't need to create a module. We don't really need to get into it, what it is right now. And now we have our new project. We can double click it. And in our source folder, we're gonna create a new package. We use packages to pretty much organize all our codes, and each package we have one package for rendering, one package for enemies, and one for event handling, and so on. But this package will be called main. The main package is pretty much where we put all our main classes. So finish, and then we go in the main package, and we're gonna create our first class, our main class. Let's call it game. We're gonna click here, public static void, so we don't need to type it out. And finished. Alright. And the box we clicked generated this code for us, so we didn't have to write it ourselves. We can remove this auto-generated text. Okay, let's see if it works. We're gonna make one of these simple system.out.println. And this is just typing out, what can we type? Let's start of my TD tutorial. Hello there. Alright, let's try it out if it works. If it works, we should have a text down here that says start of my TD tutorial. Hello there. It does. So it's working. Alright. Before we can get a window going, we need to create something called a constructor. Public game. And the constructor will have the same name as the class, spelled the same exactly. You cannot have a lowercase when it's an uppercase. It has to be specific or exactly like the class name. And a constructor is this special method that gets called every time you initialize or make an object out of this class, which is good. So this is where everything starts in the class. So to check if we call it, we can just write something here, system.out println. Same test as before, but hello. And we can run it and see if we actually run this code. And we did not. Why is that? Because we didn't make a object out of this class. So game equals new game. The first game refers to what type of object or class we want to make, which is a game object. We give it a name called game. We could name it whatever we want, but let's make it simple and just call it game. And then we're give it a value. So if we run the code now, yes, it gets run. Perfect. And to get the window going, we will use a class called JFrame. And to access it, we can do it different ways, but I like to extend this class into JFrame, which gives us access to all the functions and methods in JFrame. And we also need to import the class as a reference, so it knows what we're talking about. There we go. And there are 4 lines of code I want to use to display the window, but we actually only need 2. The first one we need is a set size to the window, so we know how big it's gonna be, or we need to set a size. These numbers represent pixels, and 400 pixel wide and 400 pixels in height. So 400 by 400. If we run it now, we're not gonna see anything, but I can show you. I can show you that we don't see anything. Nothing happens. That's because by default it's not visible. So set visible true. And if we run it now, a window appears. That's simple. We can move it around, we can resize it, and we can minimize it. We can take it back up and maximize. Everything works perfect. There's a problem though. When we close this, the program is still running. That's because by default, when we click the X, it doesn't shut down completely. So we need to say set default close operation, exit on close. If we check the documentation, there is 4 options to use. There is do nothing on close, which is the default one. That's why it didn't close down when we pressed X. And there's 2 more, hide and dispose, but we don't really need to care about any of these, just the exit on close. That's what we want. So knowing that, we have exit on close, but the old program is still running, so let's terminate that. Terminate it, perfect. Then we go in here and run again. It appear, same, resize, everything. When we close it now, it should be terminated. Terminated, perfect. And the last line is just for preference, but we're gonna need it later. And that is the default starting position of the window. So we're gonna say set location relative to null. We're not gonna give it any real value. And when we type it, or when we give it the null value, or null, it tells the program to start the position in center, which is what we want. Perfect. That's all I wanted for this window for now. And next step is to make something show in the window, draw something in the window. And now when we have the window showing, we want something to be drawn on the window. And we can do that easily. By going into our package, we're gonna make a new class. We're gonna call this one GameScreen and enter. And in GameScreen, we're gonna extend this class, something called JPanel, JFrame and JPanel. And we're also going to import it so we know what we're talking about. And a JPanel is just a component that we can draw to and add other smaller stuff on, like buttons and text field and such. But we just want to make it so that we can draw something on it. And to do that, we can start by setting up the constructor. GameScreen. We're not going to use the constructor just yet. And there's one more thing that we need to, or one more method we need to use, or add rather, is public void paint component graphics G. And we also need to import this graphics object. And we won't really need to call this paint component by ourselves. It's going to do that automatically, but we need one to have anything show up. So remember to spell it correctly. If you don't, it's not going to be called. So it's not going to be called. And then we need one more line, one of these lines we need that's more difficult to explain, but see it as, we don't need a large E, there we go, as we're calling the superclass JPanel to do all the graphic calculation and drawing that we don't need to mess with, such as background and making sure there's nothing left over from the previous frame. So this line just calls the superclass to do its thing, and then we can use it as well. And to paint something, we need something like a square, maybe. So let's draw a square. G dot draw, is it square? Draw rect, it's a rect. And this draw rect function has 4 parameters. Ignore these, they are wrong. The first ones are x, the x position in pixels, and let's say 50. X and y, or y. Make it 100 wide, 100 width, and 100 in height. And now we can go back to our game class and make a private GameScreen, done. And we're also going to initialize it. GameScreen equals new GameScreen. Boom. And now if we run it, we're not gonna see anything because we need to add this J panel to the J frame. So add GameScreen. Come on, GameScreen. And now if we run it, we're gonna see a square. Ta-da! We can also change the color of the square, and let's do that. So, and to change colors, we go g.set color, let's go with red. Small letters or lowercase works. I think uppercase works too. Yeah, it does. And there is draw rect, and then there is g.fill rect. Same parameters, just remove that one. There we go. Fill rect. Now we should have a filled rectangular. That is the color red. Ta-da! Good. Now that's working as intended. Perfect. And before we end this episode, let's do a quick recap. We made two classes, one that extends the JFrame and one that extends the JPanel. In the game class, we have the main method, the public static void main where everything starts. We made a new object, the game object. And in the game class, we have all the basic information needed to make the window appear. And in the game screen, we extend the JPanel. And here we do all the rendering or all the painting. And to access the JPanel, we make a new object of the game screen, initialize it here, and add this new game screen, which is a JPanel, to the JFrame. And as soon as we run it, and the paint component gets called, and we can see a red square in our window. In the next episode, we will add a sprite sheet with custom graphics and make a grid that will be the base for the game. This episode took a bit longer to finish, but I will aim to keep each episode about 10 minutes long. I think that's the sweet spot for tutorials, not too long and not too short. I hope to see you in the next episode as well. Take care and have a nice day. Bye.